Tonight, there's new pushback against SANDAGs' new transportation plan to charge you for using local roads. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. To pay for the future upgrades, new sales and mileage taxes are being proposed. SANDAG's board of directors say they'll vote on the plan tomorrow. News 8's Kirsten Holmes picks up our coverage for us this evening with what happens next.
Imagine having to pay a per-mile rate for driving to school, work, or wherever you're trying to go. Now, SANDAG says that they're trying to give everyone a cleaner, more equitable transportation plan. Meanwhile, critics of the plan say folks just can't afford it.
It's naive to think that the communities that depend on roads in North and East County, Fallbrook, Alpine, Santee, Valley Center, Julian, could be effectively served by mass transit. Yet every one of those people in those communities are going to be paying for the tax.
District 5 San Diego County Supervisor Jim Desmond says the $160+ billion plan from SANDAG, specifically how SANDAG wants to pay for it, gets a hard pass.
Technology is the future. We should embrace technology and future transportation solutions, not buses and trains of the past.
At this point in time, we are not asking anybody to pay a tax. There's a lot of fear-mongering going on that's taking what's a plan and associating that with some specific tax measure.
Colleen Clementson, the director of regional planning for SANDAG, says right now raising taxes is not even being considered at their next meeting.
That would have to be decided in the future, how we pay for the plan, should the residents of this region want to invest in the plan. Ultimately, the people who live here get to decide if they want to make this investment.
Clementson says what they want to do at Friday's SANDAG board meeting is vote on whether to move forward with the $163 billion plan. How to pay for it comes later, and Clementson says the full price tag will not fall on San Diego County taxpayers.
When you've got a big, exciting, bold plan, the government wants to help invest in that, whether it's the federal government or the state government.
Still, critics at Thursday's news conference say SANDAG should focus on addressing past and present projects that San Marcos Mayor Rebecca Jones says are failures.
SANDAG has repeatedly wasted our money, spending millions of dollars contrary to how we all voted on them. And it must stop.
SANDAG says they are not voting on any new taxes at Friday's board meeting, and they maintain they're going to leave that decision up to you, the voter. And they say it won't go on ballots until somewhere around 2030. Kirsten Holmes, News 8.
Thanks, Kirsten. There's a good chance you have your heater going tonight after a chilly, rainy day across the county.
Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis is in early tonight with a look at conditions. Carlene?
Still chilly out there, but not as rainy. So we had that influx of moisture between about 2 to 6, and now we're starting to see that activity exiting out. So this is over the past 6 hours. We had a lot of rain that was in the forecast this afternoon. Started off with some morning showers, and now where we're actually seeing things stick is around Santee as well as Jamul. Some isolated showers across Fallbrook and Escondido. We're also looking at a chance for a few more lingering showers before 9 p.m. tonight, but we will be drier over the next few days, but that's going to lead to some frost, especially across the inland valleys, and a heavier system, a stronger system and heavier rain expected next week. Details on that coming up. Marcella, Carlo.
Thanks so much, Carlene. All of that rain drenched the county and created some dangerous situations on the road.
With the rain, we know oftentimes comes flooding, and those dangerous driving conditions follow. Dana Marie McNichols has a look at all the weather and how it played out.
It has been a windy and stormy day here in San Diego. Now, the rain started last night. It's carried through the afternoon. Here in Pacific Beach, I'm out in the elements. As you can see, the wind is blowing. A couple of surfers are taking advantage of the swell, but who is really lucking out are the kite surfers behind me, taking advantage of the gusty winds. Morning commuters woke up to wet roads and rain showers this morning. A rollover crash involving 2 cars briefly shut down the northbound 15 freeway in the early hours. The rain continued and covered many parts of San Diego County Thursday afternoon, and with it, strong wind gusts. Just in time to wreak havoc on the afternoon commute. Along the 805 freeway, driving visibility was low at times, with traffic moving slow due to the slick roads. From El Cajon and Chula Vista to the South Bay, streets puddled with water as the rain stayed consistent. In Pacific Beach, residents were taking advantage of the weather today.
And away we go!
Dan Grentz and Peter Beck just finished up a kite surfing session, riding the waves and getting air with the gusty winds.
We don't get much of this, so that's why everybody's out down here today.
They follow the forecast religiously, looking for an opportunity like today.
Let's see it! A big front flip. You'll be on the news.
Many braving the elements for hours to get a couple great rides out of this rare San Diego storm, risking the runoff pollution and enjoying the water anyway. The San Diego County Department of Environmental Health and Quality has issued a general rain advisory to avoid water contact at all coastal beaches and bays due to this rainfall. In Pacific Beach, Dana Marie McNichol, News 8.
Thanks, Dana Marie. The COVID-19 Omicron variant is now in San Diego County.
The county's Health and Human Services Agency says the person lives here in San Diego and recently traveled overseas.
News 8's Jesse Pagan is here now breaking down what we know about this first confirmed case in San Diego. Jesse?
Yeah, guys, according to the county, this person tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. Scientists then took those results and did further testing, which is known as whole genome sequencing. That's where they found this strand was the Omicron variant. This is now the 14th Omicron case in the state of California, according to data from the California Department of Health. The county says the person was fully vaccinated, including a booster shot. As of right now, they're not in the hospital and are in isolation. The county, meanwhile, is trying to find people who might have had that close contact. Researchers working on finding these Omicron cases here tell us it was a matter of time.
We knew it was inevitable. For the last few days, we've just been thinking it's going to be like tomorrow or the next day or the next day. So it is here. We have been sort of already putting out the guidance that, it's going to come. So do all those things that we think is the smart thing to do.
San Francisco had the first case in the state and the country on December 1st. Los Angeles had the second in California. Since then, Omicron cases have popped up in several states. Dr. Laurent, who you just heard from, tells me we will likely see more in the coming days here. Worth noting, so far, experts say the Delta variant is still the prevailing one and the one that's likely more severe. We're working to get you more information on the case. As soon as we do, you'll know.
All right, Jesse, thanks. The former owner of this television station, KFMB, is going to prison for 6 weeks after paying more than $500,000 to get her children admitted to top universities. As News 8's David Gottfredson reports, Elizabeth Kimmel appeared in a Boston courthouse today for her sentencing as part of the Varsity Blues college admissions scandal.
Being in a prison situation for 6 weeks is not easy.
Elizabeth Kimmel showed up in a wheelchair at Boston Federal Court Thursday, where the judge sentenced her to 6 weeks in prison. She previously pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud for paying more than $500,000 to get her 2 children admitted to Georgetown University and USC. Former San Diego U.S. Attorney Chuck LaBella was not involved in the case, but he says the felony conviction will stay with the La Jolla millionaire her entire life.
You hearken back to Martha Stewart, and Martha Stewart has ended up on her feet, and she's stronger than ever. But she had to endure a lot of finger pointing and a lot of whispers, and that's going to happen here as well.
Kimmel's defense team filed paperwork describing the 57-year-old as being taken in by a fraudulent scheme and that she was unaware of all the details. But prosecutors disputed that, saying Kimmel knew exactly what she was doing, and evidence showed Kimmel tried to cover up her actions, allowing her children to be admitted as athletic recruits in sports they did not play.
Just because you've been given a lot and you are privileged, quote unquote, doesn't mean you can sort of overstep and take advantage of other people and jump to the head of the line fraudulently.
In addition to 6 weeks in prison, Kimmel received 12 months of home confinement, 2 years probation, a $250,000 fine, and 500 hours of community service work. It's unclear whether Kimmel will serve her home confinement term in her $7 million mansion in La Jolla or this $6 million penthouse owned by Kimmel and her husband in Las Vegas.
Anytime she's asked the question, have you ever been arrested? Have you ever been convicted? Got to answer yes.
The Bureau of Prisons still has to decide where Kimmel will serve her time. She has to self-surrender after the holidays on January 12th. Marcella?
David, we know that Elizabeth Kimmel was educated at Harvard. She's an attorney. What other consequences could this conviction have on any continuation of a career that she wants to pursue?
She will not be able to vote during her incarceration, but that right can be restored later. She will not be able to own firearms, and records show she made some political donations in the past, but now candidates may be hesitant to accept contributions from a convicted felon.
All consequences we are learning after a long investigation. Thank you, David.
Local tenants joined together to march against one of the county's biggest landlords. Earlier this year, investment giant Blackstone bought nearly 6,000 housing units from the Conrad Prebys Foundation. Now, tenants say their worst fears are coming true. They claim Blackstone is neglecting their health and safety.
When we ask for something to be done, it doesn't get done. But if we pay the rent late, we get an eviction notice right away. Why does that happen?
The tenants marched on the Conrad Prebys Foundation in Mission Valley, demanding that they put them in contact with Blackstone.